Okay, so today I'm making a video about overseas contracting, kind of contracting in general, not specifically one place such as Afghanistan where I'm at right now, but just all over the place. And what I want to talk about is the realities, the real deal about overseas contracting, the good, the bad, and the ugly is what we're going to call this. And I'm going to try to talk to a couple other of my friends out here, get their opinion, so it's not just me telling you what I think, but a little bit broader view of what the pros and cons are and what life is actually like, and help people understand whether this is a lifestyle they might want to get into or something they really want to avoid. It's not for everyone, that's for sure. So here we go. So for me, the biggest thing, the reason people are here is the money. That's the good. How much money you can make in such a short period of time. One of the things about overseas contracting, at least in Afghanistan, is that you pay almost no taxes as long as you stay out of the US for most of the year. Your first, I think this year it's $104,000 is tax-free. And it's similar for a lot of overseas jobs. I worked in the Marshall Islands where I paid just a flat 5% tax to the Marshall Islands. And when you're working and you're making your money without paying taxes on it, and your housing and your food and all that stuff is covered, is paid for by the company, it's amazing how much money you're able to save in a short amount of time. Working jobs like this, I'm able to save as much money in a year as I would probably save in like 5 or 10 years working in the United States, even if my paycheck was the same, which it's not. I make over here probably on average about 20-30% more than I would doing a similar job in the States. So that's the good. And the good is also the travel opportunities and the adventures you have out here and the people you meet. You meet a lot of characters, you meet a lot of great people, you meet a lot of weird people. So it's, it kind of broadens your horizons, and it just kind of opens up the world a little bit. All right, so what do you think? What are the positives about overseas contracting, or specifically working here in Afghanistan?
Well, you get to meet a lot of interesting people, and the money, of course. Everybody's
the money. We're all in it for the money. It's true. What's the best thing about working out here? What do you like the most?
One of the good things for me, being out working overseas, meaning I've been working in Afghanistan and Iraq. I'm an electrician, and supporting the United States military along with the coalition. And one of my good things is obviously it's for the money, the salary. It's been a privilege for me. I've had many good jobs back home, but the salary makes a big difference. This opportunity has enabled me to be able to can pretty much take care of the family much better than I could if I was home working a regular job.
And then in my opinion, the biggest negative about working overseas contracts is, of course, being away from your friends and family, being far away from the people that you love. That's the big one. But there are a few others. The food can sometimes be terrible. The hours can be extremely long. And one of the ones that I don't think people talk about a lot is you can get kind of stuck in this lifestyle. The work is not the same. Like, at least for me, for doing electrical work, it's not the same as the kind of electrical work I'd be doing back home. Occasionally it's difficult, it's challenging, but a lot of times it's actually really easy, and your skills can get rusty, and you can get a little, I'm not sure if lazy is the right word, but it can be a little intimidating thinking about transitioning from this type of work to going back to, say, the United States, where it's more of a go atmosphere, and the work can be more both physically and mentally challenging. Guys get intimidated and they start to feel stuck. They start to feel like they can't cut it in the real world anymore. And there's also the here you don't do your own laundry. You don't make your own food. A lot of aspects to life, you just don't have to deal with them. And so it can be hard to think about going back to the real world where you have to deal with all that stuff. You have to deal with standing in line at the grocery store and sitting in traffic and just all that everyday stuff. When you live and work in an environment where you don't have to deal with it, it's intimidating thinking about going back to that normal lifestyle. So people get stuck here, and you stay too long, you might lose the ability to ever transition back to a normal lifestyle.
The negatives, the dust, the environment, the boredom, the tedium.
And what about the things you don't like? What's the negatives about working this kind of job?
When I took this job years ago, we were all, as contractors, told about the different scenarios as far as the weather, the living conditions. Obviously, it's a war zone. It's not the same as it is back home. You're also working.
Don't worry about it.
There's one of our friends going out with the fighter jets. And also, being away from the family, the ones I love so much, it's not easy doing that. I'm family oriented, and being away from the family for such a period of time, sometimes it plays a role on us. I really don't like that.
And then the ugly, the worst thing about working, at least here in Afghanistan, is the risk, the danger. Lately, we've been having a lot of incoming rockets. We had rockets coming in both Saturday and Sunday. This was the Afghan national election, so it's kind of an unusual time and a little bit more active than normal. But not just this contract. I mean, when I worked in Antarctica, we had a scientist out there die, fell through the ice. A lot of overseas contracting is fundamentally more dangerous than the type of work that people are used to, and that is the worst thing. That is the ugliest thing about this lifestyle and this type of work is the risk that something bad might happen to you or people around you. Maybe it's that something terrible happens and you see it. I know the last time I was out here, I was at a place called Fob Shank, and it was a pretty hostile spot. We had a truck bombing, and we had a lot of incoming rockets and mortars, and I saw some stuff that it definitely changed me. It definitely changed my perspective and made it more difficult for me to, just be a normal person after seeing things like that. So that's the ugly. And what's the worst thing about being out here?
Being away from your family, of course.
I hear that.
Yeah, I miss my grandbabies.
Anything else? Anything you want to tell people?
No, it's just.
All right, cool. Thank you. What's the worst thing? What is the absolute worst thing about being out here?
Okay.
What's the? I call it the ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. Well, it's a choice, right? Every one of us that is over here, we made that decision ourselves. We decided to leave our loved ones and come into this war zone. One of the things that I don't like really is where I'm working currently is at a hospital, and I get to see a lot of the trauma. Another thing is, the different cultures that are here. There are many different cultures. You have Jamaicans, Americans, Bosnians, Bulgarians, Indians, Africans. So there's many different cultures here. And sometimes the culture, the habits of the cultures, different cultures can, because we're so far away from home and sometimes under stress, whether it's work or it's just being here in this war zone. The little things that you run into, as far as taking showers and and the condition of the living quarters, the condition of the showers, sometimes the food.
Yeah.
The food. Sometimes the food make us sick.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the government is treating the contractors under their contractual agreement fair. A lot of these companies don't treat the employees fair.
Yeah, you brought up a really interesting point there, and something I thought about, but I didn't mention in the video at all.
Yeah.
And that is, with all the different cultures here and the different, the different people, their cultures, their ways of being, and the fact that we're all kind of in a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Long hours,
Yeah.
lots of stress, a little bit of danger. The amount of racism that comes out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
I almost liken it to the way people divide themselves in a prison.
Yeah.
Where people really divide up by culture, and you do see a lot of racist behavior, a lot of
Yeah.
prejudice, just in the nature of what happens when you put these very different cultures all in one spot together under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
We divide ourselves.
I think what helped us is what we're doing. We help each other.
Right.
We tend to help each other when we see one of our employees not doing so well, and it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing for a lot of us. You have folks that leave their families from so far and from home, and they're promised certain things and they're looking forward to that, and you can go as far as dealing with medical, just trying to get out of theater.
Yeah.
It can be a big issue, so
Definitely.
yeah, but
anything else you want to say? It's anything, maybe not the good, the bad, the ugly,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just anything you want to talk about, tell people before.
I would encourage anybody that's thinking that is home, and I'm talking in the the United States is my home, and anywhere else in the world that is viewing this video. If you have a skill or an interest in making more money to support yourself and your family to get ahead, contracting is not bad. It's not for everybody, guys. There's young folks out of high school here. There's middle-aged folks here. There's even folks of age that is here working.
Yeah, I think we got one electrician that's 70 years old.
Yeah,
Still going strong.
and doing good.
Yeah.
So think about it, guys. It's a lot out there, and there's a lot of information if needed. You can surf the web. You can get on board networking and find out what's really going on, what's for you, what's not for you. There's many different job-related, work-related positions here, from construction to administration to medical. You name it, it's here. Plumbers, carpenters, painters, electricians,
Dishwashers.
What do you call those folks in the gym?
Personal trainers.
Personal trainers.
I'm not sure if they're trainers or if they're just. I don't know.
yeah. So it's here for everybody that's interested. And I wish you all the best. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, if you're still watching, then you must have enjoyed this video. Please remember to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And you may want to check out some of my other videos if you're interested in this overseas contracting lifestyle. I've got information in some of my videos about specific locations, such as working in Antarctica or the Marshall Islands, and of course videos about here in Afghanistan. I've also got some videos about exactly how to find the jobs, how to apply. So subscribe, check it out. See you later.